This week's episode is sponsored by Change. Change is the #1 mentoring programme that teaches you e-commerce from scratch. Change has a real community with real results. I have been working with Ryan for many years now and have attended many of his events and retreats across the world and got to meet members and the amazing community of like-minded people. Ryan works with a lot of big names in the business world, helping them build online businesses and e-commerce. Change offers personal one-on-one support, no experience needed, but like anything, this takes time and is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you put the work in, you will get the results. E-commerce and online shopping is getting bigger and bigger. This is a great opportunity for anyone that is looking for financial freedom. For more information, go follow Ryan on Instagram at RyanJB, and he will guide you through the steps to help you get started and build a successful online business. You can now follow me on all my social media platforms to find out who my latest guest will be. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're notified for when my next podcast goes live. And boom, we're on. And today's guest, we've got Pete Taylor. Pete, how are we?
Great, James, great. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. First and foremost, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem, delighted.
You've got a great story. Your daughter is one of the greatest boxers of all time. I think we can put her in that bracket now. Katie just had a great fight at the weekend. For me, it looked very easy for her. You were back in her corner. You've all had controversy in your life. You've been shot. You spoke about it. It was all in the media. The papers fucked you over with that one. And then it all came out that you're actually a kind of hero. Try to save people. Yeah, but we know how the media can kill people. The media, we know how they operate. But how are you?
All good.
Good.
All good.
Before we get into all the nitty gritty though, I always like to go back to the start with my guests, get more of a bit of understanding about you, where you grew up and how it all began.
Yeah, I was born in Leeds, Yorkshire.
Leeds fan?
Leeds fan as well, yeah. Unfortunately, no. But at the time, they were great.
Big Viduka.
Yeah, brilliant, you know.
He ended up at Celtic.
Yeah. I mean, the time they leave, people forget Cantona was there as well, you know. But anyway, we had great players like Paul Maidley, Peter Lorryman. Oh, it's a great team. But anyway, I grew up in Leeds. I left home at 13. I was working in the holiday camps, you know, the Butlins and Pontins, all these places. I was there till I was probably 16, 17, and then I went over to Ireland, started working in the amusement arcades, doing the security. And that was really it. I stayed there, and I've been in Ireland, how long? Nearly 50 years now. And it was strange being in Ireland, an Englishman in Ireland at that time, because there was all the troubles going on as well at the time, you know. So I think I was the only Englishman in the south of Ireland. So it wasn't easy.
How were you treated?
I was okay, because you know once you're boxing, you get a little bit of respect anyway, you know. And I was doing the security as well, so you know, obviously it's tough times because you were English as well, and then you can be refusing some of the lads, but yeah, it was all right. You know, you had to fight, and but once you're in a few fights and you show your worth, then you're treated with respect. Then,
how was your upbringing, family life?
I never knew my father. My younger brother was a year younger than me. Committed suicide when he was 25. So I never knew my father. So like I say, I left home when I was very young. So yeah, didn't have a great upbringing. But like I say, I was on my own. I brought myself up, really, you know.
How was that when you were moving away? Was that because you wanted a better life, or was it just a case of you didn't really know what you were doing, but you just...
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. It was what would you say? It was a shit childhood, and I just wanted to be out of it, you know, and just thought I'd be better off on my own. So I just left. And he said, when you're 13, 14 years of age, leaving home, it's a tough time, and it shows how your child is when nobody comes looking for you at that age, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was random.
What age did you start boxing?
I was boxing from the age of 13 and 14. But it was all over the place because I'd be in one place and I'd be moving to another place. And you know, to be good as a schoolboy, you need to be stuck in one club, working with one trainer all the time. But I'd be all over the place, you know.
But you didn't care?
I didn't care. No, I was never care. No,
Ah.
I was never care.
Was the boxing kind of, not an escape, but did it give you, do you think boxing saved your life even as young as that?
Well, I was like, you know, like we were just talking about soccer. I was decent at soccer. You know, I had trials with Leeds United as well at the soccer, so I was a decent soccer player. You know, Katie went on and played for Ireland. You know, at the football as well. So I was a decent football. I was always into sport anyway. So I think sport saved my life, to tell you the truth. I was always into sport.
Yeah, it does help that. When we used to play football back in the day, it was a lot of the scheme kind of teams that were the best players, but they never had the father figure. When we signed desk forms and went to the pro youth teams, all their dads used to drive up in the big Mercs, and they used to speak to like the managers, and they were in the kind of know. Like my dad was there, but we used to go with like fucking holes in our boots and little plastic quick save bag, and they had all the best of stuff, but it made you feel like a loser sometimes, you know, even though your ability was better than them. You just never had that inner belief.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
You know, you can actually feel inferior to all them because they've got all the best of this and best of that. But you know, it strengthens your character as well.
How many years did you work on the door?
Well, I was working on the door from 17 till probably I was about 45, 46. I was doing all the doors in Bray, where we were from. The only reason I stopped doing the doors was because Katie was coming into prominence at that stage, you know, and you know, you didn't want you to be, you know, yourself on the doors. There's always a little bit of a hassle, and I didn't want to be in the papers over me clattering somebody, you know.
Because obviously with on the doors is bad enough. Like I was saying off camera, my dad was in Victoria's nightclub in Glasgow, but people would come down with shooters and blades, swords. Then I'd imagine Ireland would have been a different ball game with the threats.
You know what? In Ireland then, it wasn't like that. Like, there was people that have a strainer. You'd go over and you'd have a fight, and to go in and have a pint, and afterwards, you know, that's Irish people, you know. It's changed now. Obviously, it's changed now. But then there was a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of pride about. They had a little bit of pride about each other, and people would come down and they'd fight, and that was it, you know.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be, you know. They go over on the while I was doing the doors, it was on the seafront in Bray, and to go over onto the beach, and they'd be sorted out on the beach. They come back and it'd be grand. You know, and that, you know, that's the way it should be, but it's not like that anymore now, is it? You know, so.
Because even having a straightener, you're lucky if it lasts 2 or 3 minutes.
That's it, you know.
You know what I'm saying? For the average guy who doesn't train, who doesn't box, you're blowing out your ass.
Yeah.
But when I hear people telling me stories that they were fighting for half an hour, 45 minutes, I think, you're talking shit.
So your hands would be wrecked.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, if it's over in like 30 seconds and it's 1 or 2 punches, it's over, isn't it? Let's be honest about it, you know, unless they're rolling around on the grass, you know. So I was good, you know.
What about, was there much trouble at the door from like UDA, IRA kind of troubles, or was it a certain pub for certain?
No, it was good. Like it was good. Like there's like if people like when you're on the doors, there's no protection rackets running. It was just I was running the door, you know, and that was it. It was grand. There was nothing like that, you know. It was everyone kept out of it, you know. It was great.
Yeah, that's surprising though. Obviously, with the troubles and all this shit, it must have been a well-run door then.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Bray was good. I got on with all the publicans. They all asked me to look after the doors, and look, it was. I thought I was very fair on the door. You know, I wouldn't have people that were drunk, and you know, I called to them the next day when they were sober. You know.
Back in the day, though, the people on the door were ruthless because you didn't have your cards or anything.
No,
but you're talking 10 or 15 bouncers used to kick fuck out if you were a little bastard.
Yeah.
And I've seen many people getting beaten by the bouncers because back in the day, it was a free-for-all.
I used to do the doors on my own, would you believe? I used to do them on my own. I used to do the nightclub by myself, you know. And then when the nightclub got bigger, then we'd probably have one other person on with me, you know. So she just stand on the front door, and you knew everybody was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't bad, you know.
How was your boxing career? Were you not Irish champion?
Irish light heavyweight champion, yeah. It could have been a lot better, to be honest. I had 4 kids before when I was 25, and Katie was my youngest. You know, I already had 3 other kids then by that stage. You know, so you don't really have much time for training then. Well, look, I still trained. I trained every day, but it's I had to fully commit. You know, because you're working on the doors. I was working during the day as well. You know, so it was hard enough to really commit to boxing.
What was it like becoming a father for the first time, especially not having a father around for you?
Yeah, well, you're going to do the best you can for your kids, you know. Like,
were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. I was actually delighted, and you know, I love kids, and I just wanted them the best I could for them, you know. And so I didn't really enjoy doing the doors, you know. But I was working during the day. I had 2 or 3 jobs going all the time, you know. Just wanted to provide for them and then get them into sport. Because like you say, sport saved me. So all my kids played sport, you know. So it was great.
One of your sons, they not Muay Thai as well?
Yeah, Lee, the eldest, he was professional. He was professional Muay Thai. And then my other son, Lee, Peter, he boxed. He was really, really, really good boxer. Probably had more talent than Katie. But he was youngest professor in Trinity College. He's a maths physics professor, and so much brains. Then Sarah wasn't the eldest girl. Wasn't into. Yeah, she wasn't into sport. No interest in sport, but
why?
I think
there is always one though in the family.
Yeah,
just like, fuck off, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I think that was. I went into that, you know, and she just wasn't into it. Like she ran him running in school races. She just was not into it, you know, and that's grand, you know.
My daughter, she's doing Muay Thai. She loves it.
Yeah.
But after the first 6 weeks, she hated it, and then she's kind of stuck at it. Now she loves it, but I was only doing it for kind of the fitness. I think like the combat side of things, no matter male or female, I think it's just great for the mindset. My other son, he's doing Muay Thai boxing. My nephew Carter, he's under 14 Scottish champion boxing. So I think it gives them an element of confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, that they're all 15, 14. But they're cheeky bastards now, and I think, like, listen, you're just not there yet. Just be careful.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the in that environment of not fighters, but they're the nicest people I know. The Muay Thai guys, the guy I train with, Sean Wright, just unbelievable, just pleasant, nice, but a trained killer. They would fucking tear your head off.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're just so nice, humble, and you know, you would have seen it get into the pub game. Everybody's different, few pints, and they think they can beat the world, and you think, listen, sit down, you arsehole. But it's interesting. See, when you obviously come from the boxing background, seeing your son doing like Muay Thai is different with those kicks and that. Were you scared for him?
Yeah, seeing him coming from one fight, he could barely walk, you know, from the leg kicks, and it's a different sport altogether. It's a completely different sport altogether, you know. And he was doing well. He was doing well just through his boxing ability, and but like that leg kicking. Like,
why did he go the other level?
Because Lee was he never trained hard. He had loads of talent, good, great power, you know, but he would never put it in. And you know, the one thing in boxing, you really, I don't know enough about Thai boxing, but in the boxing, he's fast paced. The amateur boxing is. The Thai boxing is a little bit slower paced, is it? I'm not sure, like, you know, and you know, the standing, and they can keep distance a little bit more with your legs, and I think he liked the tempo of that, you know, and he just took to it great, you know, but he was knocking everybody out with his hands, you know. So
you've got your oldest daughter not asked about sports night, and then Katie comes along, your youngest. When did she start showing interest for kind of sports and fitness?
Straight away, she was like 4 or 5. She was a great footballer. I think she was 14. She played for the Irish senior women's team at 14, you know, and she played with the schoolboys all the way up till you weren't allowed to play. The girls weren't allowed to play with the boys till 12, but she won the Wicklow Schoolboy Player of the Year. So they had to extend the age for her. That was at 12, so they extended to 13. She won the Schoolboy Player of the Year at 13, so they moved it up to 14. So she was playing with the lads up to 14 years of age, you know. And she was athletics, she was great at as well, you know. So
what you thinking then, playing football? Did you see the potential? Did you see that mindset of a champion, of a winner?
yeah, she did the races in the school. Everybody would be laughing and joking. She'd go off by herself. All she wanted to do was win. She wasn't interested in anything but winning, you know. And but I actually thought she was going to go the football route, because Arsenal was looking for her at the time as well, you know. And I thought there's more opportunities for the football. There's no opportunities for the girls at that stage, you know. And but I started giving her a few fights then as a schoolgirl, tucking her hair up into their headgear, and we just called her Kay Taylor. And she was beating the young lads, and
yeah, because no girls were allowed to fight,
no,
so you used to kind of dress her up as a boy.
Yeah. And then a few of the clubs knew, but they'd always put her on the shows, you know. But she was beating the lads all the time, and so this is a shame. She's never going to get an opportunity, you know. And then we were campaigning, trying to get her a fight all the time in the National Stadium. Couldn't get her fights, and then eventually they got her a fight with a girl from the north of Ireland, Alana Muffy, who was a year older than Katie, and Katie beat her, and Andy Lee fought on the show, and Katie got fighter of the night on the show, and I think that woke everybody up a little bit, you know.
Obviously, women's sport boxing is non-existent. Even the football was kind of non-existent 10, 15 years ago. Obviously, the women's football game now is rising every year, and people are getting good money. I think they've got their first £1 million signing. It's like, fair play, I'm all for everybody doing what they want to do. The women's game's still nowhere near the man's game, but I think people get scrutinised for saying stuff like that, but it's still amazing how far they've come on. Like, it's unbelievable. But boxing then was non-existent for females. I know females have done it in the past, but it was not getting the media attention. Did you see that it wouldn't really be a career, or did you just have belief that it was going somewhere?
I had belief she was going to go somewhere. But at that time, now there's loads of girls boxing. At the time, there was a handful of girls boxing, you know. But them handful of girls that were boxing, the quality was unbelievable. Because for them to box, they had to be in the clubs sparring boys. Else they weren't allowed in the club, because there's no other girls to spar. So now there's loads of girls boxing, but I think the quality's dropped. Whereas there wasn't many girls boxing then, and the quality was much higher. The same with football. Now they've got all the women's leagues and all this. I think 15 years ago, there wasn't so many girls playing football, but the quality was much higher because they were competing with the boys all the time. I know that sounds mad now because there's all the girls are fighting, but I just think because there's so many girls fighting now, these girls training camps and this, where when Katie was an amateur, she was going to the men's training camps. So she had to spar men from Russia, from all these other countries, and for you to hold your own, you had to do something special, you know.
What you thinking when she's sparring men for the first time? Like, do you get agitated, or are you just thinking it's another sparring session?
Just another. Once it starts, it's another sparring session. For this fight, when she was over here in the Netherlands for me. Katie was Jazza Dickens came over for sparring with her, you know.
Shout out to Jazza, man. He just unbelievable what he done there.
Jazza's unbelievable. Jazza was with me for a few years, you know, and he was, if anyone deserves it in sport, that is the man. He stayed in Dublin for 2.5 years in the back of a van. Just not a camper van, just a van with a mattress in the back, freezing cold. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he deserves that. I love Jazza as well. Great guy. I love majority of the Scousers are the best people.
Yeah, Jazza's special though.
Yeah.
He's special. And his father, Colin, shout out to Colin, he's a gentleman as well, you know. But Jazza's great. But Jazza came over, I gave him a call, I said, Katie's fighting Serrano again next. Southpaw, will you come over and do a few rounds with her? Over straight away, you know. And he had his own fight coming up as well, you know. He had the world title fight, just came in to the camp straight away, and they did a few rounds together for a few days. It was great.
Yeah, congratulations to Jazz. And like I say, I'm proud of him and buzzing that he actually won. It was what was that, Tuesday night or a Wednesday night? It was a weird
Yeah, weird
night,
night.
that.
Yeah.
But it was great to see it. I seen it all over Twitter and social media, and he deserved it. And it shows you the support that he had.
Yeah.
Because I was at Big Dairy Matthews, I think, posted that, and then I'd seen it because I thought it was on the Friday, but I think it was on the Wednesday.
Yeah, it was
so I
on.
missed
Man,
it.
it was in
Yeah.
Dubai. Mad night. Yeah.
So Katie's going through the ranks, but did you not? Is it a 2008 Olympics you tried to go for? And it
Yeah,
got cancelled?
2008 in Beijing. So yeah, they invited us over to Chicago to box an exhibition for the Olympic Council. So the Festa Gangland, Katie Dunn from Canada, she was a world champion, the weight above Katie. So I said, this was great. I'll go and showcase women's boxing. But Katie went in and stopped her. So I don't want to see this. I don't want to see girls getting hit like this. And because she boxed well, they refused it. It was mad. They refused it. They were saying, yeah, it's definitely going ahead. It's definitely going ahead. We're thinking, well, Jesus, Olympic Games are getting close now. It's 2008. And we're driving into the gym. Next minute on the radio, women's boxing won't be included. They didn't even have a courtesy to give us a card to say it's not going to be included, you know. There's a chance it could be included in 2012. But
How was that feeling for Katie?
it was devastating. I can remember the journey into the stadium for training. And I remember just saying to her, you've got to be better. You've got to knock the doors. You've got to show everybody that they can't refuse you for 2012. You've got to win everything around. And that's where she went on and won the 5 world titles in the amateur and the Europeans. And I don't think they could deny it then for 2012, you know, because she was starting to get such a name in amateur boxing.
So London comes along 2012. Was Katie favourite?
Oh yeah, she was the favourite, yeah.
Was she?
Well,
Because she was not 5 world.
5 world titles.
Yeah,
yes,
beforehand, like she was flying world championships, everything.
She'd not lost in 17 major competitions. It was unheard of, you know. And if silver medal had been a disappointment for everybody in Ireland, you know, and Ireland was going through he was going through a bad time at you know, the crash was in Ireland, the financial crash, and everybody was depressed. And I felt the hopes of Ireland were on the two of us there on their shoulders, and there was banners all over Dublin saying Katie Taylor gold medal, London, she'll win a gold medal. Oh Jesus, some pressure it was, you know.
She came out with the flag, did she not?
She carried the flag. It was unbelievable. Now, in truth, everyone said it must have been great. It was not enjoyable. The Olympics was not one bit enjoyable. It was just pressure. You know, even after Katie won the gold, for me, it was just relief. It wasn't, I was just, thank God that's all good, you know. And as soon as that was off, just, what's next? Go for the Worlds. The Worlds are next, aren't they? And I was thinking, you stop now, will you? I've had enough of this. And just stop. But yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of pressure.
What was the homecoming like after winning the Olympic gold?
Everybody, you know, the people in Ireland are brilliant, great supporters. But what pisses me off in Ireland is the politicians. They never wanted us to. We trained out with a third world shed, like it was a shithole. We used to have to go to the bathroom. We used to have go down to the pub. We had to battle for this shed. It was on the seafront in Bray. We had to battle for it. It took us 15 years, no more. 1995, 17 years battling for this shed, and it was a shithole, a boat shed. We had to redo it, put floors in, everything. But all the politicians wanted to be out when we came home, you know. So they wouldn't even give us a boxing club. So I said, there's no politicians getting involved. We were just here for the people of Bray who supported us, the people from Ireland, and Bray was, well, I don't know, maybe 40,000 people, 50,000 people there. It was unbelievable. And but it's mad. I'm going off the story a little bit here, but it's mad how media twist things. I was coming out of the Olympic Village, and they were saying, one of the journalists said, what about an homecoming for Katie in Dublin? I said, yeah, that'd be great, but as long as it doesn't have any effect on the homecoming in Bray, because we're from Bray anyway, we're not from Dublin. So I said, once it's organised with the people from Bray, I said, this is the main place. They've supported us, the people from Bray's always supported. Next day in the papers, Pete Taylor refuses homecoming in Dublin. You know, they just have to change the narrative all the time, you know. Jeez,
Bastards, aren't they?
Assholes, you know.
See, going through all that then, like 20 years just training in football and boxing, not really knowing if the sport's going to pay off, like, how was it for Katie? How was her emotions? Because she never really shows much emotion, so how was her when she won the gold in the homecoming? Was that okay? I found my path and I'm on the...
Yeah, she hates the attention, Katie. That's why she moved to the States. The hardest thing when it was accepted in the 2012 Olympics was you had to qualify. So you didn't automatically qualify. We had to go to China to qualify. And the qualification for boxing is crazy. So only 4 is allowed to qualify through Europe, 4 through the States. You've got every part of the country has to have someone in the boxing. So usually the best boxers are not in the Olympics. So the best 12 boxers, you only allow 12 boxers, say. The best 12 boxers could be in Europe. But they're letting some in from Australia. You've got to let in a few from Asia. And the first fight, Kay was the favourite for, obviously, so she was ranked number 1. The first fight, the girl pulled out against her. But if Kay got to the quarterfinals, this girl qualifies, but Katie doesn't qualify. Katie had to get at least to a semi-final to qualify, you know. It was just a mad system, you know. People you beat, a girl, Queen Underwood, she was beaten by a girl from Norway, but because she was the last American in it, she qualified and the Norwegian girl didn't qualify, even though the Norwegian girl had beaten her. This how they let people into the Olympics for the box is crazy, you know.
So why not just let the top 12 ranked or top 16 who are ranked to go?
I know. They have all these, man, they want 4 people from every continent.
Yeah, which is understandable as well. But if there's sort of eliminators or playoffs, it just doesn't make sense, does it?
Doesn't make sense, you know.
But it's all politics. It's all bullshit.
Politics. Olympics is marketing at the end of the day, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's like some of them core sports at the Olympics, like wrestling's out of it now.
Yeah.
For skateboarding, you know.
What was the other one? The Australian woman, breakdancing. Did you see that woman? Like, no harm to her, no disrespect, but she was fucking terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people there could have been her place. The way I see it is the way I see the Americans are, the way they move. Like, she came in and she was doing like a fucking kangaroo, and I just thought I could have done that.
Yeah, I know. But look, I think it's the same in swimming. I don't remember if they had a wild card in the swimming there a few years ago, and a lad jumped in he was swimming for one of the African nations and nearly bleeding drowned before he got the field. He was like, I'd have swam better myself now, you know, he nearly drowned, he did. I think it finished before he got up to the top, you know. It's
you don't want to embarrass people either, but the Olympics there in Paris was an absolute joke. Like, all that transgender stuff at the start and that, like, it's just keep the politics away from sports. People training their whole life to compete at the elite level with their home country watching, to then be getting tarnished with all that shit. And then look at the boxer who was a man who had XY chromosomes from day one. They say he was a female, had female parts, blah, blah, blah. But it was cancelled from the World Championship because he's got XY chromosomes, he's a man. And now it came out he was a man, and now he needs to return his medal. But like, imagine Katie. Katie would have probably beat him anyway, but how would you feel if somebody you know who was a man was fighting the females and was up against Katie?
I know. Just what can you say? I couldn't believe it. Like, and then they weren't allowed into the World Championships, but they were allowed into the Olympics. But I think it's going to get worse now.
Do you think so?
It's definitely going to get worse. I mean, once they change I don't know. Like, you're open to being sued now if you don't let them in, aren't you? You know, this is the world that we're in now.
Yeah. It's not that you're against anybody, but just be fair. Like, you've got this swimmer who wouldn't finish in the top 500 in men's swimming, but yet becomes trans and finishes number 1 in the world in the women's sport. Men and women are different. We're built different. We've got different chromosomes. Go and have a different sport or keep a section for trans people. Just fucking leave all the politics of the lane. Leave all the rainbow shit out of football and just play football, play sports. It's just becoming tarnished.
But play with your own gender.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and whatever about swimming anyway, and running, whatever. But any combat sport, why does a man want to go and fight a woman?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, like, why would you want to do that? What are you getting out of it? You're a man, you've just bet a woman around. Like, look, I think that happened in the MMA as well, did it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, like.
Yeah, it's nuts. That is nuts. Like, give everybody a fair chance. That's taken away from the hardworking woman who's worked her whole life for then somebody to come in and steal their spot. You know, women need to be standing up for their own rights. And
That's what I was just going to say that. Everyone should the women should just boycott it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard to do that when you've maybe spent all your life getting to this place in the Olympics, but if they all stand together, there's no event if they don't compete in it, you know, and that's what they need to do. The women, I actually find that as well in women in sport. I remember we were at Q&A once with Katie, and some woman said, "Do you think it's fair that men get paid more than women?" And all this. And she was talking about rugby, I think, at the time. The Irish women's rugby team had won the Worlds. And I said to her, "Do you go watch the men's rugby?" "All the time." "Do you watch the women's rugby?" "No, I've never been to one." You don't support your own. That's why they don't get paid. It's the same with football. How many women go and really watch you see loads of women in the crowd of the Premier League match. But you don't see loads of women in there when the women are playing, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, if you want equal pay, then you've still got to bring in the same numbers. I think for the men's World Cup, they're bringing in like £7-8 billion for the tournament. The women's World Cup's only like 200-300 million. They bring in, like, it's a big difference.
Big difference.
And I think Serena Williams says, I think John McEnroe, somebody was saying, "Do you not think Serena Williams is the best tennis player in the world?" And it says, no, it says the men's sport's tougher and harder, and if you look at the shots and their pace, everything's different.
Yeah.
And they asked Serena Williams about John McEnroe, and she said, well, he's right, because if I was to play Andy Murray or Djokovic, they would beat me 6-0, 6-0. It's different players, it's different strengths, it's different everything. But the tennis and that, I do love as well. The women's tennis, it is up there because it brings in the same crowds because it's on both sides. But they only play 2 sets. The women's the boxing, which you deserve credit for, man, because you've put the women's boxing on to a world scale, you and Katie, from what you have done for the sport. I don't think you get enough credit for that. Clarissa Shields and Serrano, like what they've done. Jake Paul, whether you agree with him for boxing or not, he's still done great for the women's sport. But yeah, like I say, if they're bringing in the same numbers like Katie at the weekend, millions of views, sold out arena, by all means, you deserve a big pay packet. But you can't say for women's sport, there's 2,000 watching it, that they deserve the same as the guys who are bringing in 70,000, 80,000 a crowd every week. It's fucking ludicrous.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, I mean, I think there was 6 million viewers for that, for the Katie's fight
on Netflix.
You know, and then they've packed out stadiums, so they deserve to pay, you know. Like you're just saying about the tennis. Well, I love the women's tennis as well, because with the men's, it's nearly serve and volley and it's over. Where the women's, you've got rallies all the time, don't you? You know, it's a little bit exciting. And that's why I like the women's boxing. Everyone's got 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I think the 2 minutes is great for women's boxing, because for 2 minutes it's exciting. Where the 3 minutes, you know, you can watch a pro fight. Sometimes you think, jeez, when's this over? You know, because 3 minutes of pacing each other. And the girls would end up like that as well. It'd slow down, but at the moment it's frantic. You know, it's and I think it's better for the girls, you know.
Yeah, fair play. Like I say, fair play for anybody trying to make a living and trying to make a career. And I can understand people wanting more money. By all means, get it, but it's got to be fair. What you're bringing in, what the numbers there are, who's coming to watch you. So just be fair. Do you know what I'm saying? What sponsors do you have? That's all it is. Like, nobody's asked who's earning what, but it's still got to be in a level playing field of if you want the same wages as them, are you bringing in the same numbers as them? It's pretty simple. So the Olympics, gold medal, everything's flying. What happens with her career then?
Well, then I split with Katie's ma, you know.
Was that 3 years later? 2 years later?
That was 2 years after the Olympics, you know. Maybe a year after the Olympics. And then Kay's really, you know, she's in her faith as well. And I remember coming down to the boxing club and says, I don't want you in the corner. You know, you're man and not there. Just don't want you in the corner. So I was there. And again, like social media, I'm married now. I'm married to Karen. And Karen's the same age as Kay. And everybody was saying, Peter's run for Kay's best friend. Didn't even know each other, you know, just social media in the papers. Kay Taylor's best friend. for me as an insult, it sounds like Kate's fetched this girl in since she was a child and you've bleeding groomed her, you know what I mean? No, she didn't even know Katie, you know? Well, obviously she knew Katie, but she didn't know her, you know? So that grows legs then, and we'd be out in a pub and they'd say, oh, I heard you've just had a baby, have I? And I said, does she look like she's just had a baby? And, you know, just rumours and rumours and rumours. And but that's what happened anyway. So
That's ruthless from Katie, though.
you know what?
Did you know that? Would you expect that, especially being in her corner for 20 years? Or
I don't think it was ruthless, to tell you the truth. She's such morals. You know, she's such faith, and she thinks when you're married you should be together for life, and she's great. She's some morals, you know. It killed me now, but I had to think, I had to respect it, you know, because she did a documentary afterwards, and she said when I went to train, I went boxing, it was like I was fighting with only one hand because my dad wasn't there, you know. So she knew what the consequences would be. She lost in the Olympics then in 2016 in Rio.
do you blame yourself for that?
But yeah, obviously it was like, but if she'd have won the gold in the 2016, she wouldn't have turned pro. Because I would never have had her turning professional. I didn't want her to turn professional ever. So if she'd have won the gold in 2016, and we were only talking about this last month when I was over there, she would have never turned pro. And she wouldn't be where she is now. And you could stay amateur and won 3-4 goals as an amateur, but you never create the legacy of women's boxing that she's created now. Because, you know, amateur boxing is under there. You know, it's nearly under the carpet. People don't really. It's never on TV. You won't get 6 million viewers watching an amateur fight, you know. So look, maybe it worked out right for her, you know. But no, she got beaten in the Olympics then, and then she decided to turn pro.
Were you still speaking to her through that process?
Not really. No, we weren't really speaking.
How hard was that for you?
It was tough because we were like that, you know, and. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough for both of us, like, you know, and but that's life, innit? You know what I mean? And then obviously because we were always together, it was a big thing in the newspapers, you know. You'd think I was the only person to ever split up in a marriage in Ireland, you know. So and then when Kay got beaten in the Olympics, then there was just it's over the father. So I was painted as the villain, obviously painted as the villain, you know. And then the photographs then with me and my wife and her being the same age as Kay, it made me a pure villain in Ireland, you know. But that's life, you know what I mean? It was on a bad news day. They used to make stories up about me on a bad news day, you know. I'd be on the front page. There must be no more news going on, you know. But at the time it was tough. Now, in all fairness, now, you know, seeing.
Because obviously going through that, Katie's Olympic champion, she's world champion, she's #1, she's got all the belts, life is going good. You've had an affair, Katie's put you to the side, and like I say, it is ruthless, but she's for her morals, and it shows you the kind of calibre of person that she is. You've done wrong, no, that's it, and stop being stubborn and says, no, I'm sticking to my guns.
Yeah.
Like, but then so you've had that top of the world moment with your daughter, to then losing your daughter, in a sense, you've probably been more broken-hearted, her not winning the gold, than her, because you're not being there, probably blaming yourself. And then you're going through the emotions, and then in your gym, your best friend's been killed, you've been shot, and it's just, your life just seems to have went from the top to the bottom. It just seems to have switched right round. Yeah,
it's first I go back to the when she didn't win the gold in Rio. I was away. I was staying in Ireland for the Olympics, so I went away to Croatia. Then I was coming back. Went away with my wife now. So I was coming back, and I was saying to Karen, just go out. We got to the airport in Dublin, and says, just go outside there. I said, I have a feeling there's going to be a heap of reporters there, you know, because Katie's lost in the Olympics. There won't be anybody there. She said, what are you talking about? There's no one there. I said, just go off, just a feeling there'll be someone there. She went out, the airport was rammed with media, you know. So as soon as I came through, Kay lost, Kay did, do you blame yourself? And just, the media love a bad story, don't they? Good stories don't. So that was
So they were still giving you shit.
Shit, yeah, blaming me for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then
Why have they got it against you?
you know what I think? When Kay was always training, she was winning, and the media would always be calling you, say, "Want an interview with Kay?" Yes, no, she's training. And I used to protect her from the media, kept her away from the media all the time, and I had no time for him. I had absolutely no time for him at all, and I think, they kind of hold that against you, that way.
They don't like that.
They don't like it, they think everybody wants to be on the front of the papers, So then, then the shooting happened then in the boxing club. Jesus, I just remember it was bank holiday Monday, and I'd been out all the weekends, and I woke up. It was 6 or 7 o'clock session. Woke up at 6 o'clock. And have you ever read the book, the Chimp Paradox?
Paradox, the monkey mind.
Yeah, I was in the middle of reading that book. I woke up for training and said, I'm not going to go training today. I'm going to get one of the lads to take the class, Then I said, nah, that's the chimp in my brain telling me not to go train. I should have listened to the chimp. If I would have got shot if I hadn't gone. So I said, I'm going to go train. So I said to Karen, I said, follow me down train. I said, just fingers of protein shake down. I said, but don't be late. I said, I'll start the session at 7. So I flew down there. I got there about 6:45. And seemingly the gunman was there waiting. And opened the door, went in, wrote all the session up on the whiteboard. Everybody was slowly trickling in. And then I was turning on the music. Next minute I heard bang, bang, bang. Jeez, what's going on there? And I thought one of these Kaiser machines, the Kaiser weightlifting machines, I thought the air compressor was backfiring. So I turned around to say to somebody, turn off the machine. Then you see the lad at the doorway just shooting away. And Bobby, a good friend of mine, trained every day there. Every day. He didn't box, but trained on the morning for the weights, trained on the evening the boxing, lying on the ground, blood coming out of his head. Everybody was screaming. There was about 15 or 16 people there. Everybody was running all over the place, hiding, diving through doors. And we were upstairs in the gym at this time. And your man had the stairs blocked. He was just shooting around. And it was only a small area. It was only, say, 15 foot long by 10 foot wide, And I was, Jesus Christ, what's happening? And then there's 2 girls beside me, One's only 15. She swam for Ireland. She was screaming, and I think, fuck, I said, this guy's going to kill everybody in the gym, So I was looking, it was always happening so quick, but your mind slows everything down, And I'm looking around for something to throw at him. I think, throw a 1 kilo plate at him, catch him on the head, and then I can jump on him, And I'm the furthest point away from him at this stage, But I'm looking around, couldn't see anything in the gym to throw at him, 20 kilo plates. And so I'll just run for it, So I just started running across the gym towards him. And I think he saw me out of the corner of his eye. And he shot at me, the first bullet just whizzed past me there. And I remember thinking, fuck, that was close. And then I got across the room and I just dived towards him. And when I dived, somebody put a bench there, but my leg hit the bench and he shortened the dive, but he spun me in the air, which was lucky because he shot at me then. And when he shot, the bullet hit me there, went through there, in there, just came out, missed me heart by 2 mil, I think. Came out there, spun me around. And then I think, obviously, he got a fright and he ran out the door. But that was grand. Like, this dog, my friend's dead, another lad's hitting the leg. But then, obviously, we 20 minutes for the police to come. Police are like a 5 minutes walk away. It takes them 20 minutes to come. Your man's in an English reg car. Somebody taking the reg of the car, reported to him. Your man was able to get out of Bray, which is a bottleneck, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and drive to Dublin, stop for a cup of coffee and drive to Dublin without getting picked up in an English reg car in Ireland. I mean, seriously, like a van. But anyway, it came, and then straight away, for some reason, the guy started with something to do with me. So they took my phone, took my car, didn't take anybody else's phone, took the computers. Council came, checked, locked the club up. Club's still locked up now, 7 years later. Media then, why was Pete Taylor a target of a gunman and this and that? Guards convinced it was something to do with me. And instead of the media saying, geez, fair play to Pete Taylor, to, saving everybody in the gym, he always painted the villain. Somebody came in to shoot me and this and that. I was involved in a local drugs battle. I disrespected a leading drugs boss in Dublin. And just then I was a debt collector for MTK, the boxing organisation at the time. There was all this coming on, and it was because there was MTK boxers there and this and that. Every story, but the right story, So if they were making me out to be the villain again, and it was great for the papers because Katie was like the angel in the papers, obviously, which is deservedly so. But Dad has had an affair. He's the villain, and now look what he's doing. Now he's involved in this criminality, and so I have all the papers actually in court. It's up in July and in next month. I've a heap of papers in court for defamation, still going on. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed. I mean, whoever hears of a case going on for 7 years. The murder trial went on for 5 years. The man who shot Bobby was in custody, his longest serving prisoner ever in Ireland in custody.
And remand.
In remand. Seriously, what crazy, So, I couldn't go anywhere in Ireland. You go into a post, Pete, would you leave? He said, people are afraid in here, you're here, And he wasn't. I was thinking, geez, I'm after risking my bleeding life here, trying to save people, and then getting crucified now by the media and by people in Ireland. So we came home after the Olympics 2012, 30 or 40,000 people saluting you. Next minute, nobody wants to talk to you.
People leaving cafes because they're scared. And it's understandable people have got fear because people believe what they see. They believe what they read. They believe what's on the news.
See the media. What I say is the media. Don't believe anything in the media. It's absolute bullshit. Things are wrote in the media you see and about people and and it's actually bullshit. And how do you get away with it? And I said, I'm not letting them away with it. I don't care what it costs me, I'm not letting them away with it.
Yeah, definitely. Because you've tasted it, I've tasted it. The media, fuck me. And I've done some great things over the last 7-8 years. It'll never get spoke about. But certain things that just blew up and made me look like a villain. And I'm thinking, dirty bastards. But I don't forget.
No, I
don't forget. It's hard because we live it firsthand.
Yeah.
And I think all the fucking stuff I've done, they'll never promote, they'll never say this, all the homeless work and all the charity, they'll never mention
Never
mention
it,
a kid from the streets created one of the biggest podcasts, we'll never talk about the
good
motivation,
things.
the qualities, just they'll jump on something and try and destroy your life. But like I say, bastards, and there's a lot of good people out there working in the media as well. I'm not tarring everyone with the same
there is a lot,
but when to get those stories and those headlines, they do destroy lives.
Yeah, and there's some of them papers are rags. Let's be honest, they're actually rags.
People believe them though.
Yeah, like Sunday World, all these, they're bleeding rags, and they get away with they write what they want about people. They actually just write, and at the time in Dublin a few years ago, there was all the troubles were going on. They get so many people actually shot. They actually do. They are the cause of a lot of it, writing false things about people. They're actually the cause of things. What happened with me? I was coming out of the club one day, and before the shooting, this was, and a reporter comes running over me. Oh, what do you think you're training all these MTK boxers? Do you remember the MTK? I said, yeah, and what? I said, I'll train what I want to do. The boxers, it's a boxing gym. I'm training boxers. Yeah, but, you shouldn't be training them boxers. I said, why? I said, the boxers I'm training, like Davey Oliver Joyce, he went to the Olympics. I said, he's been boxing for the country for nothing for years. Now he's turning professional. And he's trying to earn a few bob. He's 3 or 4 kids. I said, why shouldn't I train him? like, I've no involvement with anyone. I'm just a boxing coach. So why shouldn't he train in my club? I said, it's an honour for me that he's asked me to train him. He's a former Olympian. Sean Turner at the time, Irish heavyweight champion. Gary Cully, Luke Keeler. Like, said, why wouldn't you train him? But they just tried to make a big thing out of it, you know. And look, it was an absolute nightmare. And then I was gonna say after the shooting, then
That just adds icing on the cake.
icing on the case, yeah. And then, like I say, then I had this big cage on my arm for 18 months. So I'm going to amputate my arm at one stage, and I went back to get the keys for the club because we had to hand the keys over to the guards. So we gave it to the council. The council wouldn't give us the keys back. But my gym equipment's been in the club for 7 years now, just laid there. Club's still locked up. They took it out there 3 weeks ago, and now the club's up for rent for anybody who wants to rent it. Club was built for Katie Taylor and for Bray Boxing Club, which was my club I'd set up, and you risk your life to save people in the club, and then to take the club off you. I mean, where's the justice in that? There's no justice in that, you know. But they don't care. They're just politicians, you know. And you know yourself, we're just talking about boxing, combat sports. It's like a church. Everyone's welcome. It's just, you know, a lad might come in, he might be a bit of a boyo, or he might do a bit of this, he might do a bit of that. Don't do it in the club. You're welcome. Once you're sound in the club, you're allowed in the club. I don't care, you know. And while you're in the club, they're doing nothing. They're just training. And the boxing clubs are the best community clubs in the world. They fetch people together. When Kate qualified for Olympics in 2012, the other boxer qualified out of my club was a Garda. So you had Garda in my club, you had Garda training with a little few of the boyos and everything. Everyone was training together. And they got to know each other, and it was the best social hub you could ever have. And then they take it away from you like that. But you know, I always find with the politicians, there's always ulterior motives. And I think with the club in Bray, they're going to eventually build apartments where it is, because it's on the seafront of Bray, was prime location, you know. Mm-hmm. And there was always plans for apartments there, you know. So that's the real reason that they took the keys.
Did Katie reach out to you?
Straight away, yeah, straight away.
Is that the first you had spoke?
No, we'd been speaking beforehand, and we'd been speaking before, and then, but obviously then that was a shock for her, you know. I think she was only 2 weeks away from a fight as well at the time, you know. But she rang me straight away. But it was a shocker for her, you know. It was a shocker for all the family, because everybody knew I wasn't involved in everything and in anything, and like the mad thing, if you think somebody's going to shoot you, like the papers kind of say I knew I was a target and this and that. You won't be going into the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning, leaving the doors open and going away and training away. And you know, all the papers saying, why was Katie Taylor's father a target? I was trying to explain to why guards were saying, why were you a target? I'm saying, I wasn't a target. I got shot running at the man. If somebody wanted to shoot me, he'd have shot me going into the gym. There was no one else there. If he'd have walked up behind me and shot me in the head, I wouldn't have known anything about it, because I thought he was just coming to train. But
how was the court case going through all that? Did you know the person who was doing it?
No, never from town, never from Dublin, never even heard of him, you know.
What about the guy who was killed? Was he the target, or was that another innocent man?
Innocent man. What happened there was, we were all in stations training on the weights, and the man came and he stood at the door there with a gun, and one of the lads said, Bobby, who's your man there? Everyone thought it was a joke, you know. And Bobby went, where? Put his head in front of the man's shot then. And he didn't actually shoot him, he just put his head in the way of
the bullet.
So, and I say your man was in, he didn't know what he was doing, and he just started panicking and just started shooting everywhere then, you know. So it was the strangest thing that's ever happened. And then then you're trying to find out what was this over, what's this, who's this over? So you think you could, nobody was talking about it, because obviously nobody was talking about it because an innocent person got killed, so nobody wanted it to take ownership of it, and it was strange,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go from street parades, taking your daughter to the greatest boxer, or en route to be the greatest boxer of all time, to then the affair, not speaking to your daughter, losing people in your gym. Like, how was life for that after all that chaos? Like, how was your paranoia? How was your mental state? How was everything?
Yeah, like even when people say like an affair, I didn't have an affair. My marriage was well over then, and then I wasn't even living in the house then, I was actually living in the boxing club nearly at this stage, and Karen, I'm married now, married to the girl, and so it was not like a
sneaky
affair, like, you know what I mean, and we're married now, it's I was horrific, like, like you can't explain it, like the guards come, then they're taking your phones and you're taking your computers and everything, and like my wife now, she's saying, "Jeez, what's going on? Like, what?" She's now thinking, "What have you been up to? What's going on? And then they're giving you a gym on your life, saying there's a threat on your life. I said, "Threat on my life for what? There's a threat on everybody else's life that's in the gym, but it's just the guards. They just had this thing that it was something to do with me, and I don't know for a reason. And I know he can't come. I must know. I genuinely don't know for what, because all I was doing was training people, And no, it was crazy. We moved over to Liverpool then for about 4 or 5 weeks. I was in Liverpool. I was gonna set up a gym over there. That's where I was talking to Jazza and everything. And I said, "Look, I'm going back, like, like I was saying, now I'm over here now in the Netherlands. I love Dublin, I love Ireland, and it's even over here, I'm not over here for any reason. I'm only over here because my wife is working over here. But it's difficult for me over here, because you have a good community back in Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when things like this happen to you, there was 30 or 40,000 people there when we came back after the Olympics, but then you had a handful of people around you after I got shot. But then them handful of people, who they are, that they're solid with you.
Trust.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets rid of all the weeds,
Mm-hmm. Which there's plenty of, and you'll taste it firsthand, especially when it comes the fame and the attention with having someone who's a success in the family and traveling the world and getting the media hype. You can't trust anybody.
No.
And that's the sad reality. People say, "Oh, you're being negative." I've fucking lived it.
Yeah.
My circle is just my mum, my daughter, my kids, my dogs, my sister, my nephew, my brother-in-law, few uncles, few cousins. I'm
Very
sweet.
small, yeah.
I'm sweet.
Yeah.
Family I can trust. But even then, family can fuck you over. But thankfully, we're so tight-knitted, come from nothing. Our loyalty's tight, nothing will break. We'll never fucking break anywhere. And that's the way it should be. When you start bringing people in, you just never know where it can go.
Yeah, no, that's it, and people you think, they're not, people, they won't even come in and visit in the hospital because they were afraid. So I wouldn't care if my friend got shot. I'm going, I don't care what he did. I'd be in the hospital to visit him, and yeah. But like, look, it's a great learning curve. It's a great learning curve, but like, what pisses me most is the likes of the way these politicians who are there when you're winning and they're tapping you on the back, but when anything goes wrong, they just don't want to know, because they're afraid of losing a vote, and there's no morals in any of them. They're all everyone. We were saying that in the media, there's some good people in media. There's no good people in politics. I don't believe.
They're all corrupt. It's all money. It's all money and power, like you say, votes. Even the grooming gang scandals in the UK, it was all because of votes. That's why they covered it all up for votes, for a certain community to have their votes, and it was guaranteed. Cover it up. Well, let's not protect the kids at 5 and 6 who are being gang raped. Let's just get your votes. Like, it's fucking sick bastards. And I believe people must go in with a clean heart and think, okay, I want to clean up my local area or whatever. But once they're in It's the people above them saying, this is not happening, you're doing this, and they just dance to their tune. If you're not dancing to their tune, you're a target.
Yeah.
You're a fucking target.
Yeah.
And the people who are scrutinised and try to be discredited, that's the ones who are all right people.
Yeah.
Because I've been through it, you've been through it, and there's something out in the media, I think, what's the other side of the story?
Yeah.
Why are they saying that about this person? You know, that's the way I'll question it now. And I wouldn't say it does make you paranoid, because the majority of the shit right about me is fucking 99% bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah.
And I think, how the fuck can you write that? How can you talk shit like that? You know, and I think, fuck them.
Yeah, like even since the fight with Katie, and people have seen the two of us back together, they would have known if we were back together. Even some of the shit you hear about that. I was reading somewhere that Katie Taylor never got married because of her father. He wouldn't let her. Katie's married, you know. Like, and you think, where are you getting this shit from, you know? And you know what? The social media I'm glad I don't have young kids now. So that social media is a killer.
It's toxic.
It's toxic. That's the word. It's toxic, and I don't envy people having kids nowadays. It's horrible.
So what was the outcome then with the court case and the gunman?
He got life. This is Ireland for. He got life for killing Bobby, and he got found not guilty of attempted murder on me, because I think they were saying it was in self-defense or whatever. He was not guilty of attempted murder. You can kill someone and you get found for murder, but you shoot someone else, it's not guilty. You're not guilty. Don't know how that works. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, if you've got a gun, that you should be guilty.
Yeah. So
it's not as if you've been fighting. If you took the gun and shot him, it would have been self-defense.
Yeah. So he got found not guilty of me. So
what did they end up getting?
Life, but life. He's already done 5 years in remand. So he'll probably, probably be out in a couple of years,
Unless he got a 20 rec or a 25 recommended sentence where he's got to do the full 20 or 25. But how was that process then, going through all that and trying to rebuild your life? Did you ever seek any help or anything? Because obviously seeing deaths and dead bodies and being shot, like that's a serious.
Look, I never did. Like, I never. Just never did. I'm one of the people you've got to kind of fix it yourself, deal with it. Like I just said, the biggest for me psychologically was the bullshit was rolled about me. That was a killer for me.
How long did that go on?
Still goes on.
With the shooting and stuff.
Yeah, look, it's still like you go for a while. Then I was looking for a gym. Even there up to last year, I was looking for a gym in Dublin. I was gonna open my own gym. As soon as I turned up, I'd send my wife. Everything would be processed. It'd be flying. As soon as I turned up, no. As soon as you mentioned my name, no, we'll leave that. So yeah.
What about when Katie fought Serrano for the first time? Did you know how big that fight was going to be? Were you in a life then? Were you starting to communicate more?
No, we were communicating well before that. Like I had a fight on when Katie fought. Who did she fight? It was a fight before Chantal Cameron. Gary Cully was on the same bill as Katie. So obviously we were well talking before then. And then when Katie fought Chantal Cameron in Dublin, I had a fighter on that bill as well, Gary Cully. And so we were talking all the time at that stage,
Chantal Cameron's a tough fighter.
Tough fight.
She's good as well. What were you thinking with that fight? Is Katie not underdog?
For the second fight she was. For the first fight she was.
She?
I've been in the corner against Chantal. Katie fought in the EUs when I was in the amateurs. I actually wasn't that worried about the fight, would you believe, James? Because in the EUs when we fought, Katie won easy, I think she gave her 2 counts. So I wasn't that really worried about it. I thought, she'll be here, but I think that was a night then Katie was being dragged around with the media and everything, but homecoming, and I think her legs had gone before she even got in the ring, to tell you the truth. And Chantal fought a good fight, and then Katie was the underdog for the Cameron second fight, but KO's fights better than a rematch.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think she always has something to prove, you know. And she fought Pursuance. Everybody said it was close. She beat her well in the rematch. Same with Serrano. Each time she got better against her. And then I knew she'd beat Chantel Cameron. She's a good boxing IQ. She'd figure a way around her, you know. And that's what happened there, you know. Yeah, so I was well talking to Katie by then at that stage, you know. And I'd been over to her.
Were you giving her advice?
You know, I never did because
see, when in the documentary on Netflix, she said she just wanted away, and she contacted a person who you had books of in your house. Like, who is he?
Ross Enema, yeah.
Who is that?
He's just I didn't know anyone he trained, but he was a boxing coach, and I'm always reading books. I'm always reading, you know, like I'm reading books, listening to podcasts. So I had a few of his books, and I was reading a few things, and I just left it around the house, and she'd seen it, and obviously that's how she ended up with Ross, you know.
That's mad, that, isn't it?
Mad, yeah. And the thing,
she's contacted him, and he's thinking, "Who is this pest?"
That's what he actually said to me. So, is this guy there? I'm not really into women's boxing, you know. And then he took her on, and then made history together. But
how is that when somebody else was training your daughter?
It was tough. It was tough, and
because I think with her father's instincts, you see things more. You give more concentration because it's your son or your daughter. There's just certain things. I'm not a fucking coach, but there's just more interest. Same as my nephew, there's a more of an interest I have for him and any other kids because it's my blood.
Yeah.
You know, and there's certain things I tell him to do, and there's just certain things you see and you notice that other coaches I don't.
Yeah, you know the characteristics, don't you? You know everything. Yeah, and I felt like that. I don't watch Katie's fights as a pro. I only watch the fight after I know she's won. So even the times, twice we were on the same card as Katie. Was
that on purpose to be on the same card as her?
No, it just happened to be Eddie Earn. My box had been signed by Eddie Earns by Matchroom, and then we were put on the same. I was on the same card, and once my lad boxed, I left. You know, I was gone. You know, I wouldn't watch the fight. You know, I have no control in the fight, so I don't watch it. You know, and Ross could be shouting something into Kay, but if I could shout something completely opposite, and it's a head melt for him, you know, because she'd hear my voice, she'd recognize my voice. So I just wouldn't watch it, you know, because I've no control. And I didn't watch the Serrano. I didn't watch I was in Kay's corner for the Serrano fight, the third one. I watched it at home, but I only watched it after the fight was over, you know. So once I knew the result, you know.
See, when she got the Serrano fight, did you realise how big it was going to be with the world attention? Was that the first time it had world headlines of female at that level because of the attention it had?
Yeah,
because Serrano's a superstar in her own
right. Yeah.
And it's fair enough because of her record as well. I think she was like 38 and 1 or 38 and 0.
Yeah, 6 times world champion, I think.
Yeah, like absolute warrior.
Yeah.
Good power for a woman, but did you know how big it was going to be? Did you have a discussion with Katie?
No, I didn't have a clue how big it was. And I looked at Serrano, and I actually didn't think the fight would be that difficult. Even though I'd looked at it, I thought, if Katie uses her legs, it won't be that difficult, you know. But she didn't use her legs for the first 2 fights, so it was a bloody war, you know. What
are you thinking after you watch it? Because it's like, for somebody at 37, 38 and putting themselves through that was a total war where you think, man, that's not good for the mind. Listen, it's not good getting punched at all. But as you get older, you know yourself, the risks are just the rise. But what you thinking after you watched it? Listen, it was a great fight for the
armchair viewers.
Great fight, and that's why people wanted 2 and 3. But what you thinking as a father? Can you separate being a coach and being a dad?
No, that's why I don't watch the fights. No, if I was in the corner, I can't separate it. But when I'm not in the corner, I can't, because I have a little bit of control. You know what's happening. But like, I mean, the first 2 fights, I'd have been saying to her, "What are you doing? Move your legs." That's what I would have been saying to her. Don't be standing there, you know. And you know, obviously, you never know what's been going on in the camp as well. You know, the older you get as well, look, you get more injury prone as well, and then you have little problems with your calves and things like that, and then it stops you moving as well. Nobody, when there's ever a big fight on and everyone says, who do you think's going to win? Nobody knows what's going on in the camp. Nobody knows what injuries you're carrying in the camp. Like, if a boxer, Sean McCombie, fought there not a few fights ago, yeah, he went into the fight with a bone broken in his hands, you know. See, nobody knows what's happening, you know. Everyone gets an injury some stage in the camp because it's so intense, you know. But yeah, I don't watch the fights till I know the result.
What are you thinking after you watched it though, the first one?
I saw her face afterwards because we FaceTimed each other, you know, and her face was like swelled, and I think, wow, jeez, this is why I never wanted you to do professional boxing. Like, professional boxing and amateur boxing is worlds apart. It's like playing bloody 7-a-side tag rugby and rugby. It's worlds apart, you know. It's like amateur boxing, it's like nearly like karate, is touch, you know.
Head guard.
Yeah, head guards on the gloves, you never knock anybody out. It's very hard. Yeah, the big gloves, you know, and the padding's all there. The pro boxing, there's no padding. Like, you know, it's just there, you know, you get a jab and it's like a right hand, you know. And it's the state of the faces afterwards, you know, and the state of, especially when it's your daughter. Her nose was over there, ears there, eyes were closed, swell off, forehead was swollen. I thought, jeez, you know. And even the second fight with the clash of heads, I mean, the cut Serrano had was deep. Katie's jaw was out there, and
why did they not stop that fight with the cut?
I know, you know what he is. Yeah, but you know,
because they stopped. There was a fight they stopped there with the cut at the weekend. Catro.
Oh, Jack Cattrall, yeah.
Yeah. I like Jack. He's a good guy.
Jack's a nice lad. I like Jack myself. But you know what it is? You see, if a lad got that cut, Serrano got, they'd be dabbing at it, or like looking at it, dabbing at it. The girls just get on with it. Like, that's why some of the girls' fights are so exciting. Like, you know, like, I don't know. The lads have a better instinct for survival. You know, even say the 5th round with Katie and Serrano in the first fight, and Katie got rocked there. You know, lads would take a knee for that, but the girls just and they just start firing back at each other. You know, and that's why I think women's boxing is exciting, because I don't know what it is with them. They just don't have a sense of survival. They just fire back. You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it exciting. And even when we always see them playing soccer, some of them, they do slide tackles that they put you in hospital, like, you know, they start slide tackling about 20 yards out. You never see a man doing that, you know.
Yeah.
They just do reckless things, you know.
Did she come to you and say there was going to be a rematch? Because our last 3 fights have been probably some great fights. This gave her world headlines against Cameron and the 2 against Serrano. Did she come to you with the second one and say, look, there's a rematch here?
No, I always knew the signed rematch clause.
So there's a rematch clause?
Yeah.
Did you know it was coming though? What was your concerns? Especially after the first one? Because the second one was just as worse, if not worse.
Well, sure, I just said, you use your legs in this one. And, but, you know, I don't know, women are just headstrong, aren't they, you know?
How was it though, being in like the American circuit as well and getting all that attention with Serrano?
She hates that. She hates it, you know. She hates the attention. She just wants to, she'd rather just turn up on the night and box, you know. And she hates all the interviews, and some people, they thrive in it. Serrano thrives in all that stuff, you know. And but Kate doesn't like that, you know. She just wants to turn up and box and then head off then. After she's done the job, head off into the country and don't see anybody, you know.
How's Jake Paul?
She said he's a gentleman. Well, look, he's done absolutely brilliant for women's boxing. He's like, I don't care. There's no other promoter would have done that, you know. I know everyone slags him for his own boxing ability, but what he's done for women's boxing is unbelievable.
You've got to take your hat off. Like I say, he's only 28, the kid. Plus, he's the Mike Tyson thing. I don't think it should have happened because obviously the legacy that Mike Tyson has, but it was a win-win for Tyson. You don't know his circumstances. I think to get 20 million and to even pull that off on Netflix in the stadium, kind of sell out. Fair play as well. Like I say, they've got their money and cleaned it out. It's not a good look, but he's still done it. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't know with Tyson's, but what he's done for like Katie, Serrano, and where he's took the women's sport, like he genuinely cares. He genuinely cares because obviously he's got this back and forth with UFC who pay their fighters buttons for what they do with their life and how they risk it. But he's took it to another level and it shows what can be done. And we're living in a day and age, it doesn't really matter if he can fight. It's how many fucking social media followings you've got. So if Jake Paul's got all these followers, he can sell out stadiums. And listen, fair play, got to make your bread somehow. But what he's done for the women's sport is second to none. And I heard they paid or put $500,000 to Ben Askren's lung transplant, which is unbelievable. He's on his deathbed. I think he fought for the UFC maybe 2 or 3 times. I think Dana White did put some money to it. But the kid does good, you know? Yeah. And it's all show and circus. But I think the people I know who know him say he's a fucking right nice kid, man.
Yeah, Kay said the same. Look, you can look at the two ways of the Tyson thing. Like Mike Tyson, he's nearly 60. He earned him a right few bob. Like, I mean, I had Tyson's, he's not got so much money, you know, because he'd blown it and everything. So he got him some payday. I honestly think in the latter rounds of that fight, he could have knocked Tyson out because Tyson was exhausted.
Yeah, after 4 rounds.
After 4 rounds, and he didn't do it.
It looked as if Tyson was holding back. Could that have just been he wasn't going to hit him? I think Jake Paul can scrap anyway. I genuinely think
do I. I think
he's got something
he's some athlete. He's some athlete.
He is fit, and anybody that knows boxing knows he can bang. And it's not set up a one bit. But I just felt as if Tyson looked as if he could have. It looked as if he was holding back, but then I don't know if it was just old age or he's just trying to overload. And I don't know. It just didn't make sense. It just seemed like a big fucking acting game to me.
Well, Kay said to me that Tyson was like, a lot of the time he was on the sets with a walking stick, you know, he couldn't even walk. And even if you watch him walking into the ring, he looked fragile, even though he looked in good shape. He looked like, I think he even tripped actually walking into the ring, and he looked fragile, you know. And he was like, Jake Paul was moving. They couldn't cut the ring off. And he was missing with punches and look, like you say, after 3 or 4 rounds, the physicality comes into it. Then, you know, okay, he's always going to carry that power, but Jake Paul was huge compared to him as well. Let's be honest. Like Jake Paul's he's a big boy, he's a big lump, you know. And I actually do think if Jake Paul had put enough pressure on him, he could have actually stopped him, you know. And then he goes on and he puts on the girls, and look, what a stage to put him on.
Netflix and that. You should have seen the Kevin Hart's and all the big names that are there.
Like what a stage for to start female boxing. And look, Eddie Hearn's done okay with Kate in Matchroom, but they wouldn't do that. They won't go and risk the amount of money they've. I don't even think they'd have the pull to be able to.
I don't think they've got the pull for that. I think that's more of an American show. And like we spoke about, his followers and where they can take it. He's got millions of followers. He can sell out arenas. He can promote anybody to be a superstar, and people would buy into it. I bought into the Tyson fight. I knew it was a lot of shit, but I still subscribed to watch it.
But you still think well, maybe. Well, maybe.
I think, because you'll see maybe 5 seconds of Tyson hitting the pads, and people think he's on it, but you know yourself, anybody can hit the pads well. But if you get into a sparring session, there's shit. But I went for sparring and I thought, oh no, this cunt's good. He looks good, and then again they're fucking all over it. It doesn't mean anything. And Tyson's going to know how to hit the pads, but what they're good at. It's like a wrestling show. They sell it well, because I still bought into it. I thought, I've always says I'm not buying that shit. That's a waste of time. I feel sorry for Tyson. Blah blah blah. But either way, it was a win-win for Tyson. Jake Paul knocked him out or not. It would have been a loss for him because he's a 60-year-old man. But either way, 2 of them are winning. But I still bought into it because on the lead up to it, they promote it so well. I'm thinking, no, I'm going to watch that. And then I'm thinking, I can't watch that because it's fucking garbage. But then you end up watching it, the social media hype. Everybody's talking about it. You'll get people saying, this is terrible for boxing. This is great for boxing. But it just drives numbers to it. And I ended up watching it. It was shit. But I respect where they took it. And how they filled out a stadium.
Filled out, it's 95,000 people.
As if it was Tyson Fury and Usyk, like it was.
But
boxing, that's at a strong place as well. But I've been in Saudi to watch the fights and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm
I
the
don't
same.
like
No
it.
atmosphere.
No atmosphere. It's shit.
No atmosphere.
They say Saudi's going to be the next big thing in the next 10, 15 years. I don't really see it myself. Maybe
No.
it will surprise me, but I was there and they were still selling tickets for the Fury fight for 40 quid. Away up
Yeah.
the top. But I just think there's just no atmosphere. It doesn't. I feel as if Tyson fought maybe Usyk in a stadium where he would maybe thrive in that energy, it'd be a different fight. It just seems like a lockdown sort of fight. There's just
Yeah.
nothing happening. There's no
Yeah.
entertainment.
There's no cheering. There's no buzz about it. I've had a few lads fighting over there, and I've not enjoyed it at all. You know, in all fairness, you can't beat the English crowds or the crowds in the States, and go up to Belfast. Crowds are unbelievable. You know, it's hard to beat that kind of atmosphere. You know, but I can't see being. I don't think it'd be the face of boxing in Dubai.
No.
And I don't.
I think it's only got another couple of years in it and legs in it. I think people are making their money from it and getting what they can. But America and the UK is the places to be. Vegas, New York, Wembley, stadium fights.
Yeah.
You know, and what the entertainment does in America, it's got a different feel. You get excited for it.
Yeah,
3-4 days before the fight.
Yeah.
I was expecting to go into the place and feel this is a mega
the
fight.
energy.
It's the biggest fight I've been at. Been to fucking hundreds of fights, but this was the one.
Yeah.
I was it's the heavyweight. All the belts are on the line. Just never felt fuck all.
No energy.
The bastard. I was out in the snack bar eating cheeseburgers, and I'm like, where is everybody?
Yeah, no,
It's missing something. Maybe it will catch up. I just don't see it.
But I think we were just talking about female boxing. I think if boxing goes there, it'll be the end of female boxing, because they're not interested in the female end of it. You know, so I think if boxing does end up going on, the female boxing will be finished. You know, the only person that'll be carrying female boxing is MVP, would be Jake Paul's crowd. You know, because
But the crowds he's pulling in, what he's doing, he'll be making a few quid. I don't see it going anywhere lightly. But Saudi for me is it's not the place. Maybe it will change, but for me, I like the big stadiums.
Yeah.
What about when the Netflix documentary came around and you were going to be in a kind of corner again and train her? Like, how was that decision?
It was. Katie said, well, the start when this fight started, she said, "Will you come over and do a bit of training with me?" I said, "Yeah." So she says, well, "When can you come over?" I says, "I'll come over the weekend and we'll start doing a bit of training." So I went over. We were training away, and it was great. She's stayed in she's a few houses over there, so I stayed in one of the houses where the ring is and the gym. It was great. Was training over there. Then
How were you feeling? Was that the first time since 2015
yeah,
you've held pads for her?
Yeah. It was crazy. It was, and
You emotional?
yeah, it was just like you'd never stopped. I don't know if you understand. You know, just straight away. Pads is a little thing. You've got to click with someone with pads. You know, we just straight away it was working, and then we did it. We did a good week, and then I said, you know, you should come over to Amsterdam. Doing a bit of coaching over there. And she said, "I'll be over," and a week later, then she says, "I booked my flights. I'm coming over to Amsterdam." You know, so trained then over here in Amsterdam, and that's when Jazza came over. So that was great.
Jazza, he is everywhere as well. He's fucking everywhere.
He's lethal.
He's everywhere. He's I love Jazza, and I always bring it back to him because I'm proud of him as well, and he deserves it because his ups and downs in the boxing game.
And his commitment and his dedication.
Because he could have retired 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or the fight when his nose was away.
Yeah.
I think he was going to retire. So I don't know if he did say that, or maybe just making that shit up. But I think he was thinking, that's that. Maybe 2 years ago.
And then he beats like Lee Wood in the golden contract, and Lee Woods was making millions with a fight against Conlon, and Lee Woods deserved it as well. And but he wouldn't give Jazza a rematch. But anyway, Jazza came over, did a little bit of sparring. It was great. And then she went back to America. And then she rang me. She says, "Netflix are coming over. Would you come over and train me while Netflix are here?" You know. So I said, "Yeah." So just went over and trained her. And I think actually it was a little bit. I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews afterwards with Serrano and Katie. I think it was a bit of a head mess for Serrano, because Serrano says, "Why did you fetch your dad back into the team?" And Katie said, "It's my dad." "But why? you must have thought you lost the last fight. That's why you fetched him in. She was, oh, this crap, you know. So it messed up Serrano's head a little bit as well, I think, you know.
Do you think maybe the Eubank sort of thing maybe pushed her on to do that as well because of the height? Because when Eubank came into the ring with his son, like unbelievable, because they'd fell out. Obviously, yous were still speaking.
Yeah.
But I watched the Eubank Ben thing, and it was kind of sad that Eubank wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then they came out in the car, and you don't know if she's watched that. Listen, I'm just talking shit.
Yeah.
But you don't know if she's thinking, you know what, I want my dad there, because you're the guy who started it. As much as we all have our ups and downs, we all do shit. It's not the end of the world, but you're the one who gave her the vision to take it.
Yeah, I think
You know what I'm
I think she said that with the Netflix doing the documentary, she said, I want them to show that you've been an integral part of all this. Like, I won't be here without you. So I think that's why she wanted to be there when Netflix were there, you know. So, you know, so
Good feeling about that.
It was great, you know. It was great, and yeah, look, like I say, we get on great, and I think I know what she thinks before she thinks it after a lot of the time, you know, and. But I think if you look back over the years, if things hadn't happened the way they did happen with myself, relationships, she wouldn't be where she is nowadays. So everything might happen for the right reason. I'm still trying to work out why I got shot now, but but I think everything else happened for the right reason, you know.
The Serrano fight there just last week, where it looked, I wouldn't say it looked easy. It was still a tough fight. It was still two tough opponents, but she looked as if she was more confident and relaxed, and it wasn't a scrap.
Yeah.
Were you behind that game plan?
Yeah, I'd always been saying to her, single punches, use your legs. What made you great as an amateur was your legs and your hand speed. Don't be sitting there fighting like, because everybody says sit down on your punches. Use your legs, get in, get out. Don't take any punishment. I said, the task is not to get hit. At the end of the day, that's boxing. Hit and don't get hit. It's not about standing there for the viewers and punching the head off each other. I said, if a few people boo the fight, that means you're boxing well. I said, you know, because the purists like that kind of fight where the armchair viewers, a few pints in them, they all want to see a scrap, you know. So I said, use your legs. And
what you thinking when she won that? What were you thinking?
I said, thank God for once you use the legs. And with the down, I don't know if it's upside, then you think, she won it so easy. Is she going to retire? Is she going to think that was a great performance? I'm going to carry on, you know? Whatever. Well, look, whatever she does. She'll make her own mind up. But
can they retire? Can they?
I don't know.
Get to that level and see where it's going? And
James, you know,
you're the
only person that said that with me. I'm just saying that myself. Like, if you lost, you say, I'm not going out on a loss. If you win so well, oh man, there's another 3 or 4 fights in me. It's very difficult. It's nearly and if you retire before you, and in your mind you're thinking after a year, maybe I shouldn't have retired, you know. Then you try to come back. That's the biggest mistake. So I think you've got to don't listen to what anybody else is saying. Just do what you want to do. And yeah, if you're still enjoying training, just go out and do it again.
But I think she's a kind of person, when she's kind of made up her mind with it, it would be done. But I genuinely think, looking from the outside, there's another good 2 fights there. I'd love to see the Chantel Camerons at 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
Tough fight. But where does she go? Where else can she go?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best time. Like Prince Nazim, I grew up in the Prince Nazim era. I grew up in Nigel Benz and Eubanks and Collins. I grew up in that era, and Prince Nazim got his loss. But for me, he was one of the greatest. Joe Kozaki.
Yeah.
Top 5 greatest of all time for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
He actually doesn't. Unbelievable.
Sad that, innit?
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, we would have beaten all them. He would have beaten Ben what he did, you beat Eubanks. He'd beaten Ben, Eubanks and Collins every day of the week. He would have.
Do you think he would have bet Collins?
Yeah, that's why Collins
on his prime.
Collins did fight him, did he?
Yeah. How was Collins so good?
He was just so tough, wasn't he?
He beat Eubank and Ben.
Yeah, he was as tough as nails. I sparred him a few times. Stevie Collins.
Why do you think the Irish, the kind of Scottish, even like Liverpool, that they do produce some animals?
Working class, innit?
Innit? Just tough
Working
bastards.
class.
Who's the boy? Is it Kakocha?
Kakachi.
What a fighter he is. I was in Saudi watching him. And if I'm honest, I was cheering. Was it Catro? It wasn't Catro.
He was fighting with what?
Cordina.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wasn't even looking at it. I just think I like Joe. He's a good guy. A lot of time for Joe. And I just thought, yeah, it'll be a breeze. Never really heard of him. I knew the Irish knew of him because he had some support there. Fucking unbelievable fight. And then I've kind of kept my eye on him. I thought, who is that? And then I started looking into him and realised that I think he's undefeated or maybe lost one or drew one.
Yeah,
and I've watched his last 2 fights, and what an animal he is.
Yeah, he must. I'd say he was on the Irish team when I was there as well. You know, he'd be training there. He's probably the hardest puncher out of all the Irish boxers. He punches like a mule, you know, and he doesn't spar. He does no sparring, and it's just a great fighter, you know. The Belfast lads, there's some good lads up in Belfast.
Yeah, big Carol Frampton as well.
Yeah, Carl Frampton. There's some great lads up there, you know. Like I have a lad up there, Sean McComb. It's great lads up there, you know.
What happened to the boy you were coaching?
Sean McComb.
Yeah, McComb, and
he fought
when he got
3 weeks ago. He fought there. He ended up doing it. That's his first time he's fought 3 weeks ago. Nobody will fight him. Can't get a fight for him. It's impossible to get a fight for him. You know?
Who was it, Barboza? When they gave him the fucking
decision,
one side, and they gave it to that. But you're always going to get that. People don't realise how corrupt boxing is.
That was a disgraceful decision.
Was he Golden Boy?
Yeah, he was Golden
Boy Promotions.
Yeah. And then he beat Cattrall. Barboza went on to beat Cattrall then. You know, but Sean gave him a boxing lesson, you know.
Cattrall's a great fighter as well.
Yeah.
He's not had the much luck the last couple of fights, but I really rate him.
Yeah, I thought Barboza would give him a lot of trouble though. But my lad beat Barboza because he's good legs as well. And Barboza didn't know what to do with him, you know. But that was a disgraceful decision. Disgraceful.
How hard is that? Because we all know, if you're in the know, you know how corrupt, even people watching it, you know how corrupt it is with some of those scorecards, you think.
Sure, look at the scorecard with Katie. One judge gave it 95-95. How could that be a draw? It's corrupt. They're not accountable, them judges.
What do you think needs to change with the scoring? Surely they've got to bring AI or better scoring, or they've got to score it differently. They've got to be a way where it's fair and you know you're getting a fair result. There's going to be fights where it's going to be close and
it's subjective, yeah.
Rounds can go either way, 50-50, but there's got to be something.
I don't know if you remember years ago, they had that computer system in for the amateurs.
For the Olympics, when there was a points.
Points you pressed. If you kept pressing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great system.
That's not even in the Olympics anymore.
No, it's gone. But I thought that was a great system. You know, you just pressed in it. And so you were pressing on the moment. So you won't wait until the end around thinking, did he win it or did he win? If I hit you, you pressed. And that was it, you know. I thought that was a good system, you know.
There's got to be an easier way. There's got to be a way where people are getting a fair result and they can, because it can destroy careers. Sometimes when people don't have that zero next to their boxing career anymore, it can send them right off path. Princeton is a prime example. He's only 28 or 29 when he retired.
Sean McComb, look, if he'd have got that decision which he deserved, he'd have been fighting Jack Cattrall for a world title. You know, but instead Barboza now I think he's world champion. Now he beat Ramirez there last week, a few weeks ago. He's world champion. He won't give McComb a look. So
who do you think? What do you think of boxing now? What do you think it's in a good position?
No, I think he's struggling now. Yeah, I think like Matchroom are rebranding now, and it's all down now in Saudi with this Turkey. I don't think that's a good. Like we're just saying, the atmosphere is a crap. I don't think it's a good place. How long is it before they get bored with it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not much really happening in the States, you know. I think it's not in a great position at the moment. And Irish boxing's gone now. I mean, there's only small hall shows going on in Ireland. There's a few of them. Irish boxers don't get a look in on anything, you know. I don't know. Everything's happening in Saudi now, and I don't think boxing's in a good place now at the moment.
It's the heavyweight division is shit as well.
Yeah.
Like Tyson and Joshua should have fought 4 or 5 years ago. I think it's now all money, it's all politics. I still love it, I still watch it every week basically. There's always a show and always try and support the local lads.
Yeah.
My friend Nathaniel Collins is doing well. Undefeated, he'll be world champion. But I just like the big shows. I love the atmosphere of the boxing.
Yeah.
It's like when you go there, you know everybody who's there, you know what I'm saying? You end up missing fucking rounds because you're still talking shit.
Yeah.
But the heavyweight division, it's not got your Mike Tysons or your Holyfielders, your Lennox Lewis's, or it's like even your Floyd Mayweathers. Like something's missing. They've got the Tank and a few of the other Americans.
Stevens is going to be great.
Yeah, but it's just...
Yeah, it's lacking something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. It's Saudi. It's took that away from it.
Yeah.
It's took away that because it's shit atmosphere.
Yeah.
And fair play for boxers getting paid because it's a very short-lived career. And if they're getting their $500,000 or 250 grand for a fight, sometimes it takes people their whole career to make that. So there's not enough in it. And I was interviewing Joe Kozagi, and he was 22-0, but he still owed money.
He owed money. Yeah, I know. Our promoters are unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean? He still fucking owed money.
And look, see, if you could get to 10-0 now as an Irish boxer, and it'll cost you 60 grand to do that because you'd be paying for your opponents. You know, to get a fight, you have to pay for your opponent to get a fight, and then when you go to shows, some of the shows you go to, you know who's going to win the fight. You know the red corner's going to win because they're the home fighter, and everyone's too worried about this all. And like you say, you've got to have good social media to get a fight. Just let people fight on ability. And people are being protected. Like you say, Sean McCormack fought Barbosa, can't get a fight. Nobody wants to fight him. You know, Kakachi only got the fight against Cardini because they thought it was going to be an easy fight. And he upset it. These lads there could be world champions, they'll never have a look, they'll never get a look in.
But the amateur system, shite. My wee nephew is lucky if he fights 4 or 5 times a year. There's hardly any fights. You need to fight to learn.
Yeah. And look, and that's as corrupt as well with the judging.
No, the rest of but it's too late. They're stopping it and doing 10 counts for nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, fuck.
Oh, you're on the ropes and you're blocking.
Yeah.
And the referee gives you a count. It's like,
yeah.
And if you roll, keep your head up. I'm rolling.
Yeah.
You know, it's
frustrating.
It's frustrating.
It's fucking frustrating, especially obviously with your family and you're watching it, you're thinking you can't because obviously you have to travel. And the crowd, like I say, with the point system, if you're sitting at the end of the round, not really knowing where to sway it, but if you've got that extra crowd, they can be swayed to give them that round. And I think the system needs to change in boxing. I don't know how it will change.
Yeah, I thought the computer was great. You know, the computer system, it was unbelievable because you pressed on them all. If I saw you in someone, you boom, 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 boom. And at the end of the round, you don't have to think, geez, who won that round? It's there. As it's going on, you're pressing.
Mm-hmm.
And then nowadays, anyone can do that. Like, could anyone? You don't have to be, you're just pressing like this, you know, just, press. And then
I think boxers should be told the score each round so they know where they're at instead of trying to judge it. Because I think Tyson Fury in the Usyk fight, he was getting into the last round thinking he'd won it. Yeah,
but even if you watch the Serrano corner, they were saying you're winning in the last fight.
Were they?
You're winning this, keep going. But it stops there. If your card is telling you you're winning because they're not reading the fight, then you don't have that urgency about you. But if they know, 2 rounds down, 3 rounds to go, you have to win the next 3 rounds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should be told. And then also, if you're getting told who's winning the fight, it puts pressure on the judges not to be cheating. You know, because at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, if somebody has, I'm winning the fight, I know I'm winning the fight, I've won the first 3 rounds, and then I'm down 3 rounds, but and the crowd can hear that you're down 3 rounds and know you're winning, they put pressure on the judges as well, because they all start booing the score, you know. And I think it'd be harder for the judges to cheat that way. You know, so.
Where do you go forward for the future with it all? What's your plans?
I don't know. Like I say, hopefully, I'm hoping I get my club back in Bray.
Same one that gets shut down?
Yeah. I don't have about 2% chance of that now because...
But surely with the hype with Katie and that, no, you've got a wee bit of pull now.
It's like you say, politicians are all about votes, you know. They've gone so far with it now, I don't think they can turn back, you know. But at the moment, I'm here in Amsterdam. We'll see how it goes. I might end up opening the gym over here. I'll see. I don't know. I just play by ear now at the moment.
Amsterdam, though, it's never produced really any fighters, has it?
No, but look,
they're all big fuckers as well.
They're all big fuckers, but look,
must have some
hidden
talent.
They're good at that kickboxing. They're very good at the kickboxing. So it's a matter of transferring people over. We'll see. How much. Look, I'm leaning 64 this year, so I don't.
You look great for 64.
Thanks, but I don't. I'm not really pushed really. I'll see how it goes, you know.
Are you looking for the next Katie Taylor? See, when people come in, and do you look for that next big thing? Do you know what a talent is when they come in the door? Do you know who's
Yeah.
got it?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. But look, we'll see, you know. Who knows? We'll see how it plays out. We'll get these court cases over with, these newspapers first now, listen, in the next month or two. Then we'll see where we go from there, you know.
Yeah, you've always had something hanging over your head the last kind of
that's
10 years,
Yeah. So
And this is the last.
this is last.
You're kind of back in Katie's corner. You've got your Netflix.
Yeah.
People see you're a strong father and daughter. And you got the recognition that you deserve. Like I say, if it wasn't for you, you've got to have some sort of credit for women's boxing, because you've created the face of it. Katie Taylor, she's done it with her consistency and her dedication to the sport, but without her dad, there's no Katie Taylor.
Yeah. It's so you get a bit of recognition for it, but like I just say, it'd be nice to put everything behind me now, you know, these court cases, and then just start fresh, and we'll see where it goes from there. Who knows?
How many newspapers you up against?
I think 20.
Listen, you'll be sitting on the beach retired, man, if the result goes away, and hopefully it does.
I could be on the road because I owe my fortune.
You could end up bankrupt, man. You'll be phoning me for a fucking spare couch to sleep on. You'll be phoning Jazza for his old van.
Yeah, for the van back.
Yeah.
But look, it's principle at the end of the day. You've got to do it out of principle, you know.
Yeah, they've targeted you and said you were basically a fucking drug mule.
Yeah,
It was a target for basically on the run from the mafia. And
yeah, it is brutal, like, you know, the things he said. And now he's like, oh, look, it's 7 years. And you can't laugh about it because it still affects you. But, like, it's, like I said, we said earlier, it's scandalous what they can say about you and get away with it. It's actually, they're a law unto themselves. They're actually a law unto themselves, and they're accountable for nothing. You know, it's terrible. Like, they can ruin people's lives at the end of the day, you know.
yeah, like you says, they do cause trouble with their lives, because people genuinely believe what they read, and that's the sad thing, unless you've been through it and realised that, wait a minute, that's just all bollocks.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, well, people want to believe it. That's the frustrating thing.
Yeah. So we did such I was in Barcelona. It was 2 years ago, yeah. And somebody robbed a watch on me, you know. I was getting into a taxi. So I chased after your man, as you do, you know. And I was running after him. I missed a step. I tore his quad away from the knee. His quad shot him there, and the foot arm, pain of it. And then this quad tore as well, because I carried on chasing him, you know. So I was paralysed in the ground. I wasn't meant to walk for about 8 months, you know, because my quads they had to have an operation to pull my quads back down and reattach them to the knee. So I have to go home in a wheelchair from Barcelona, straight to get an operation on both knees, you know. They say all over the place. I got a punishment beating in Barcelona. All over the media as well, punishment beating. And like, why would you go over to Barcelona and get a punishment beating? If you're going to get a punishment beating, you stay in town and get it, you know.
Yeah.
But that just, again, it just shows you the crap that they can write, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the fuckers, man. Just before we finish up, what makes a good boxer? What makes a world champion? Do you think you're born with it, or do you think you can actually train yourself to be the best?
What makes them? I think it's character. You know, some of the best boxers in the world, some of them, like, you'll know this from football games, some of the most talented footballers in the world don't make it because they don't have the character. You know, it's discipline, the consistency to get up every day and train and put yourself through it, you know. You know, like, you know, just saying that Kay, she's woke up, she's boxing, she was, 12 or 13, but senior level, she's boxing, she was 17. She's 39 now. 22 years of being punched in the face nearly every day. It's, you know, that takes some consistency and discipline to work up every day. And there's lads that stay at the top of the soccer to get up every day and still be putting it in day in and day out. Like, that's hard. And the toll it takes on your body is unbelievable, you know. I mean, I'd say when a lot of these world champions, champions, I'd say when they retire, they've probably got the bodies of an 80-year-old, you know, from what they've been under, the joints they've been under. But the discipline and the character to get up and do that every day. And the champions are the people that get up every day when they don't want to get up every day. You know, that's just definitely character.
Katie seems as if she could be a good coach, but do you think she'll just disappear once she retires?
Yeah, I don't think she'll be a good coach. You know why? Because she's one of them people, she won't understand that you're not up there every day and doing it, you know?
Because they not have her mindset.
Yeah, a bit like Roy Keane. You know, right?
Don't smile.
Yeah,
this isn't fun.
Oh, yeah. give me 100%. You know, I think she'd be very similar to him. You know, she wouldn't understand that you're not putting 100% into every session.
You're not dedicated to your craft.
Yeah,
like Roy Keane does love football. He just hates, like when Man U are terrible now, but when you see these players coming in and dancing on TikTok, like I don't agree with that shit either.
No.
Like just go in and play the games, try and stay off social media. But I think Alex Ferguson was the man behind it all. Like he's got to be up there as top 3 greatest managers of all time because of his man management.
It was unbelievable.
Superstars.
Yeah.
He just had enough to what he says to each individual player, understanding how they ticked.
Yeah.
And because even when they won the league, I think in his last season or this 2 seasons before, like the team wasn't that great. I just think he then had that respect. And when you've got that respect,
They want to play for you, don't they? Yeah.
They would do anything for you. And football is still the greatest sport. It's just so much of it now, it is tiresome, you know. And like say, Leeds had a great team back in the day, and I've got a lot of friends from Leeds, and the fans are brilliant. Like I've been to a few boxing shows in Leeds as well. Josh Warrington and stuff, and
he got great support, didn't he?
Sold out stadiums.
Yeah.
And he lost, I think, was it Lara?
Larry, yeah.
He ended up getting fucking drug cheat. Lara, I think.
Yeah, that's what he did on the line.
Yeah. And they're all getting done.
Yeah.
But then I'm getting told they're all doing it in America.
Yeah.
They're all at it.
They're all at it, yeah.
You should be automatically 3-year ban, 5-year ban.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know, you can't be
100%.
coming back after 3 months, 6 months.
Say it's the beef, it's the eggs, it's this. You're banned.
If you're caught, you're caught.
Yeah.
But it's the putting other people through that as well with cheating, you know. You don't know the damage it can do with extra power and extra endurance.
Yeah.
Like it just seems so bad with it, the sport as well.
Yeah,
like
it's rampant with it. But amateur boxing is not, no, because they get much more drug tested in amateur boxing than they do in professional.
But surely they would do that in professional every week. If you're in training camp for a big fight every week.
Should be tested, yeah.
You know, you can't be going weeks because you can flush out your system in 48 hours, 24 hours, some of this stuff. So it's just giving them that extra. But if you're banned, you stripped it all titles, stripped of everything.
Yeah, like you say, you should be banned for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and while you're banned, if you intend to come back, still get tested in them 3 years.
Look, the tennis player though, Big Sinner, he just won Wimbledon, but he was only caught a few months ago, or he get caught, but he only got a 3-month ban.
Like, it's scandalous.
You know? Yeah,
it's like, I don't think, probably the times are dropping the Olympics as well, a lot of the times, if they kept banning people as well, you know. Or I'll just make it all legal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make it all legal then, so they can all use it. You know, because it seems that banning them they're not banning them. They're not punishing them enough. So if you're not going to punish them, then make it legal then. You know, there's an argument for that as well.
Just before we finish up, brother, what do you think, Katie? She's going to get another couple of fights, do you think? I know we kind of spoke about it, but she does, I feel as if the wheels are in motion. Her last 3 fights have probably been the best 3 of her career. Like, where does she then go for it? Do you think she will have another couple of fights?
Everyone's asking me this. I know as much as you, James. I think Kay will make her own mind up. You know, she'll decide, look, I'm not doing another camp. I don't think it's the fights that bothers her. It's just doing another camp. And if she can't give it another camp 100%, she won't do it. Unless she can put 100% in, she won't do it. So it's going to be her decision.
Could we get a farewell in Ireland? But they don't do a stadium.
Croke Park, but
they're not
interested.
Is that through health and safety? What is that?
No, it's through government again.
You're joking, because I remember McGregor and that trying to get UFC fights, and other boxers have tried to do it, but they says because it's they don't want to put people's life at risk.
It's bullshit. It's boxing. It's because it's boxing. If it was a tennis match or a rugby match or golf, where it's upper class, you'd be in there. It's because it's boxing and it's working class sport. That's really what it is. That's my thoughts on it. If it was anyone else, he'd be in. The Croke Park, they're renting it out for American football, but they won't let Irish boxing in there. It's crazy. So it's politics again.
For anybody watching, Pete, that's maybe want to get involved in boxing, what advice would you have for them?
Make sure you go to a great club. Make sure that the club's producing champions, and it's not just a sparring club where you're sparring every day, that they teach you the proper technique and the proper drills. And if you go to a club and the first day you're in sparring, get out of the club. It's the wrong club, You shouldn't be sparring for at least 3 or 4 months. But get yourself a really, really good club.
You've had your struggles, you've overcome your struggles. For anybody watching that's maybe stuck in a life of struggle right now, what advice would you have for them?
Just stick doing what you're doing. You're going to come out of the right side sometime. I know times are tough, and look, I've had it out thinking, what's this all about? But at the end of the day, with a good character, good people around you, get the good people around you, you'll come out the right side. But just don't do anything stupid. Just you'll get out the right side of it.
Pete, would you like to finish up in anything else?
I'd like to thank you, James, for inviting me on. It's been great. Great talking to you. And I'd like to thank everybody for the support that they've given Katie. It's been absolutely unbelievable. And I know she's delighted for it, and who would ever think somebody would come from a working class house in called Bray and have so much support she's had. At the time it was a minority sport, women's boxing. It's unbelievable. Just thank everybody for the support they've shown Katie.
Yeah, she deserves it. And listen, including yourself, and it was good to see you getting that recognition on the Netflix kind of documentary. But I wish you nothing but the best for the future, Pete. I hope you win all your court cases against the media, and hopefully I see you in Katie's corner again for maybe 1 or 2 last fights. I know as a father you're probably thinking, shut up, you've done that. Honestly, mate, thanks for your time. I wish you nothing but the best for the future.
Thanks, James. Thank you.